Thank you so much for staying here with us on Sunrise. And it's another Law and Order JA. And the question sent in today reads as follows. Albert's father died in 2014, having made a will. The will appoints his sister Patrice as executrix. Under the will, there are 5 beneficiaries, all children of the late Albert. In his will, Albert left his 2 properties in Kingston to all of his 5 children in equal shares. Since Albert's death, Patrice has rented out the properties and has been collecting rent, and she has failed to administer his estate. None of his beneficiaries have been able to realize their interest in the late father's estate. What can they do? Joining us this morning to look into the solutions is managing attorney at law at Wright Legal, Anwar. Wright. Good morning, counsel. Welcome.
Good morning to you, and thank you for having me.
Definitely wonderful to have you on the show as well. And so, just by the question, I'm extrapolating that we're in the area of probate.
Probate and administration. That is correct.
All right, so talk to us now. Mr. Wright.
Boy, this is an interesting and very common scenario that we experience in Jamaica a lot of the times. A lot of the times you have property that is just left unadministered, or estates, I should say, that left unadministered, and executors, they fail to act, and beneficiaries, they're just not able to realize the interest in what daddy left for them.
And by unadministered, counsel, what do you mean?
Unadministered means that the person who is appointed as executor under the estate, that person is charged with collecting the assets, paying the debts, and distributing to the beneficiaries who are supposed to get.
Yes.
Right? And the beneficiaries are the persons who are named under the will, who are supposed to receive those gifts. Yes,
but Patrice has been renting out the man's properties and not giving anything to their the beneficiaries, the late Albert's children. Is that legal?
That is not legal. And actually, an executor who meddles, what we call it, meddle in the estate and mismanages the assets, they can be held personally liable for that, for all the losses in relation to that.
In a situation like this, Anwar, can the executrix, Patrice, be removed for meddling? Can a court order be filed? Notice of application? What can be done? So what can the children do?
So the first thing I would say is for the beneficiaries or the children to go to the executor, go to Patrice, ask her if she wants to act. If she's not willing to act, then she can renounce probate and do that formally. And they know somebody else can be appointed to administer the estate, right? Any one of them can step up.
I don't think Patrice wants to renounce. Patrice will collect our big rent.
Well, if that's the case, then what they need to do is consult a lawyer and bring an application to court to have her removed. And also they can have an order for an accounting of all of the monies that she has collected over those long years. I think it's what, 10 years or something like that. That is awful.
Awful, absolutely treacherous. So talk to me now about the course of redress. So you're saying that the children don't have to just sit idly by and just watch all of this happen. There is a course of, so again, just list out for me the steps that they can follow.
All right, so I would say first, because litigation is always the last resort. If Patrice wants to renounce, she can do so, and still she would need to account for the 10 years. So they could bring an action for her to give an accounting, because an executor has a duty to account for the assets of the estates. If she is being difficult and she's collecting her big rent, as you say, and she doesn't want to renounce, then you bring an application in court pursuant to the civil procedure rules as well, and the attorneys, trustees, accounts and general act, and she can be removed formally. Formally, and that action can be brought in the Supreme Court.
Let me ask you this, counsel. Since there are 5 beneficiaries under the will, do all 5 of them need to be named in the suit, or can one of them bring it on behalf of the others?
I'm glad you asked that. So one can bring the action on behalf of all of the beneficiaries. Not all need to take action in court and incur an extra legal costs.
Let me just ask you, what a matter of this nature, of course, you're not the judge and the court, but generally speaking, how long does a matter like this take to resolve?
It may take a little while because the wheels of justice don't really move that quickly in Jamaica. But I do understand that the Supreme Court, the registry, has been moving swifter. So you bring an action and in the probate administration division of the Supreme Court, and you can get a date within maybe 3 months, and then before you get before a judge, you're looking at they're about 6 months. I don't like to give the dates specifically. Yes,
because you're not in control of that, and we understand.
Right.
But I just wanted, because some people, why I asked is because sometimes people are dissuaded and, Lord, Anwar, it's going to take too long, I can't bother ya. And like 10 years, 2 months, can't bother. So, and I also want people to be realistic, right? So don't think that it's going to be an overnight thing. It is a process, but it is a process that is worth starting.
That is indeed true.
Because if your father has died and has left properties for you and your siblings, it's rightfully yours.
Yes.
And you should get what it is that you're entitled to.
Yes. And it's important that they act.
Yes.
Don't let it just stay there. 10 years is a very long time to know that your father's estate has been unadministered. There, the executive, Patrice, has done nothing and she has been collecting the rent. Because even though she's personally liable, she may not have any assets at the end of the day when the court makes an order that she is to repay X amount of money.
Yeah.
And when you get a judgment, the most you can do is frame it if the person is a person of straw.
Yes.
Right. So, you know, that needs to be done. And legal action, especially, sometimes diminish the value of what it is that you are to get at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if you know that there's property that you are a beneficiary in a gift under a will, take action if the executor is being like Patrice in this circumstance.
Very well, because you definitely don't want the asset to dissipate.
Right.
At all. Thank you so very much, sir. Wonderful. I hope that answered your question, and I really hope that you know and understand that there are remedies for you under the law. Thank you so very much. Big thank you to our guest this morning, Anwar Wright, managing attorney at law at Wright Legal, and he has definitely made it right this morning. Now, believe me when I say postpartum care is very important. You will learn more about this in our next segment. You don't want to go anywhere. Please stay with us.